for such a young team, after 2 big blowout wins, is there any chance or that this team might not take Missouri State for granted, but look past them to the record they have now and what it could be?
I think you always have that chance, and as a coach and our coaching staff, it's our responsibility to remind them. We've talked about this a lot, and I know it's different depending on who you play and where you play, but with the limited number of scholarships, the spread offenses, the no huddle, the forward pass, and all the zone blitz and defenses are doing things happen, games are much more exciting. And I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but the return game now, kickoff and punt returns, is much different now than it has been in the last 3 or 4 years, the last 2 years. And it's because of, I think it's because of fatigue. I think the players are no huddle. They're on the move all the time. The skill players are getting more plays. They're nonstop. They get more fatigued. You cover more field space. There's more open areas, and you're seeing return games go way up. And when that happens, it just makes for more of an exciting game. And those are things that if you don't take care of and make sure you're sound, that can get you beat.
Mike, I think just about everybody plays one. You guys play a 1AA team pretty much every year. Do you expect to continue that? And do you like having a 1AA team on your schedule?
Well, I think that this is a debate that can go on forever. You can say that you like it, or you can say you want to play 4 top 20 teams, and somebody's going to say you're an idiot for playing 4 top 20 teams, and somebody's going to say you're an idiot for not playing anybody. So my point would be that we play in the Big 12, and it's a pretty tough league, and we play in a very tough division in the South. And so we want to play a competitive schedule that prepares us for league play, and we also want to play some games that the fans are excited about in their minds of coming to see, whoever that may be. Now, surprisingly, the attendance of a so-called big-time game and a game that people may not think is that way is not much different in the history. But whatever they decide and we work out, we try to get the schedule to fit everybody's needs.
If things go as you hope, does this game allow you to do some things that with reserves and backups?
If we ever got in a situation that we were lucky enough to be in position to play some other players, we would certainly do it. We were getting ready to do it on Saturday, but they went down and scored. It was like 6:50 and 7:10 in the game. They scored. It was 6:30, and I started adding that up. It's 52 seconds, 7 points. And I thought the last thing I need is to put ourselves in a difficult situation. They score, now they onside, and so we didn't do it. But if we ever have that luxury, we do, for 2 reasons. Because it's not important to us to run the score up on anybody if we were ever good enough to do that. And secondly, the guys that have practiced and paid the price deserve to be in the game.
That being said, are you closer to determining
a second-team quarterback? No. Yeah. I wish I was. They're both doing fairly well, and they just haven't separated themselves enough to say, you're the guy. But, the same thing I said, I guess if it happened, Kate would go in because he's next. He's been here longer. But he's not a guy that we're just saying is our second-team quarterback right now.
But if in the best-case scenario, you'd like to get both some snaps.
That's right. Sure would. Like to get them all some work. Like to get our linemen some work. We like our young offensive line. We're playing 2 groups on defense anyway. We'd like to get our young offensive line some work.
Go ahead. 2 games, what are you pretty pleased with after what you've seen? What still maybe concerns you a little bit?
Well, I always get concerned about getting enough pressure on the quarterback. The best pass defense there is a pass rush, and we're better, but we're not where we need to be. At those ends, those young guys need to continue to develop and put pressure on the quarterback. Offensively, we need to quit turning the ball over. You get in certain games and you give them that many more chances than you get, you just make it extremely difficult to win. So those 2 areas are really important, and we've discussed that as a staff and work hard this week to try to make it better.
What are you pretty happy with?
Well, we're moving the ball and scoring some points. Once we get going, we're going pretty good. I'm happy with the way that our tailbacks have emerged. We thought Kendall was a pretty good player, but Kendall was fatigued a lot last year, and I think some of that has to do with being a true freshman. I think they just get tired because they're trying to adapt to playing at this level, and it's just hard. I would say that he's probably playing better than I thought he would be at this time.
How's Bond developed?
Bond's doing good. I hate to give him any credit at all, but he's doing good.
Why do you hate to give him any credit?
Oh, I just tease him all the time. You have to know his personality. He has a real dry personality, and I give him a hard time all the time. But Bond has developed into a pretty good Big 12 tackle. He's not going to just mash you or maul you right now, but what he does is he has a great cardiovascular system, and he can go a long time. And in today's game, it makes a big difference. He doesn't fatigue like some of the other big guys. He's a 300-pounder that can just keep going. And late in the game, when other guys get tired, he just starts wearing on them and just gets them turned and tipped and does a good job. He still has areas to improve. He needs to become a better pass blocker. But he's turned into be a pretty good player.
Is that pretty impressive for a kid that came from 8-man football?
It is, because he spent 2 years just realizing that there was other people the same size he was. You know, he gets here and, he had been blocking 125-pound guys in 8-man football, and he was 240, And once he got a feel for how things were here, he's gotten better. But he's smart, and he likes to play, and he's done a nice job for us.
Mike, you said you get more pressure. Did Keenum, the other night, the way he was so slippery and elusive, maybe show that, y'all
Who's that?
Houston
What number is he?
7. Well, was the way he was slipping down, maybe showing that y'all were you're getting pressure? He was just doing.
He's pretty active. I don't watch a lot of that during the game, but when I would hear it get real quiet, that would tell me to look at the board, because that meant it wasn't good. And so I'd look up there and I would see him, and most of the time it was him scrambling. And he looked like, to me, he was pretty elusive.
But you think you were getting decent pressure on him? You just making.
There were 3 or 4 times that we had good pressure on him, and I'm going to give him credit and say he's pretty elusive. If it would have been a quarterback that wouldn't have been quite so mobile, I'm going to say that we'd have had 3 or 4 more sacks. And I think you probably saw the same plays we did. We were right there. Now we have to finish, because it's not going to be. There's guys in this league the same way. The guy at Texas is that way. The guy at Missouri is that way. The guy at Kansas is that way. Those guys move around, and so we'll have to find a way to get our hands on them and get them down.
With Missouri State, does number 28 stand out to you?
Number 28.
Number 28.
Is that the tailback?
Yes.
You tried to catch me, didn't you?
Well, you don't know names very much.
No, I really don't. I just watched tape. I know 28, and the other one I think 6, isn't it? They play both of them, and they're good players. And the thing about him is he's faster than what he looks. And I was just down there watching some tape with some of the defensive coaches, and they were commenting on the same thing. He's been a pretty productive player for him. Good.
Was it a year ago today, Mike, that this was Troy Week last year?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. Last season, this was Troy Week.
I was going to say, did we already play them? I'm good.
Was it today or a year ago, yesterday, or whatever, when you out and out decided to make the switch to Zach? Or was it a week thing?
Well, that was before we played Troy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. What is today, Monday? Yeah. It was about that time. I'm guessing about now is when the offensive staff came in and recommended it, and so I had to make a decision after they recommended we make a change.
It wasn't the other way around. You didn't go to work that day.
No, those guys.
That call.
I was involved in the offense, but those guys came to me with recommendations. Larry and those guys made decisions, and in most cases, if they thought it was best, then I said, yeah, I'm with you. Good. All right.